A Montana man recently lost his guns over a red flag order filed in another state he hadn't visited in over 3 decades. Now the order was thrown out by a judge, but the man is still listed as a prohibited person. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today's story comes direct to you guys from the Montana Shooting Sports Association, or MSSA, about how gun control from other states can leak into places like, say, Montana without the local government passing a single law about it. It also highlights the issues with red flag orders, which I have talked about extensively on the channel, and how impossible it seems to be to get off a government list once you're put on one. And you know, this is the kind of list that you don't want to be on. But before I get into all of that, this video is brought to the help of Blackout Coffee Company. Getting my cup of Blackout coffee is the first thing that I do every morning. I cannot start a day without it. They have great smooth coffee, tea, and hot chocolate, have added instant coffee to their lineup, and they have dedicated partner roasts that raise money for GOA, FPC, and the Second Amendment Foundation. Though I, personally, I'm not gonna lie, I go for the French toast or the chocolate cherry. So, to get a cup of coffee that you can be proud of and help the channel, go to blackoutcoffee.com/LibertyDoll, and as a bonus, you can use code LibertyDoll for a one-time 20% discount. So, back to today's story. I don't have a name for the person that this happened to, as the MSSA did not release it, probably for his privacy. But according to the association president, the man, who we will call John Smith, is married and living in Montana. He recently called up an old girlfriend who is living in Seattle to ask her a question. What that question was, we do not know. But for whatever reason, the woman called her local police department in Washington and reported feeling threatened. Of course, Washington state has a red flag law, but note that red flag orders are actually prohibited under Montana law. Still, the judge over in Washington heard the ex-girlfriend's side of the story and issued Mr. Smith an extreme risk protection order from 2 states away. This red flag order got communicated to the town that Mr. Smith lives in Montana, and the local police showed up and confiscated his guns. All of them. No hearing, nothing. This forced Mr. Smith to get both a Washington attorney and a Montana attorney. But then, after the fact, it was realized that he hadn't been to Washington in 3 decades, and therefore posed zero threat to this ex-girlfriend. And then the ex-girlfriend recanted her story, solidifying this theory that he was no threat. So a judge threw the order out. But then came another host of issues. First, Washington state has a 10-day waiting period. Mr. Smith wanted to get his guns back, and he was told it was in Washington's hands. Washington, despite having tossed the order, did not yet notify the Montana police that Smith could have his firearms back, and he was also informed that, in the event that this information did get passed on, he would have to abide by Washington's 10-day waiting period. Why? Can't tell you. On top of that, even though the order was tossed out, Mr. Smith was labeled a prohibited person the minute the extreme risk protection order went into the court computers. That slaps him in the prohibited person category, so now he legally can't have his own guns or ammo back without committing a felony. Now, it's entirely possible that Washington informs the feds that the order was tossed out and that he is in the free and clear. But it is notoriously difficult to get off of these red flag lists once you're on one, and the government doesn't update their prohibited person database easily when it comes to taking people off the list. And it's no wonder they don't exactly want people armed. They have no obligation to automatically go in and remove him. Instead, it's another round of heavy legal hoops for something that, in the end, he didn't even do. So again, we had a red flag from another state, a bogus story, cops enforcing a red flag in a state where it's illegal, the man marked as a prohibited person, and having his guns confiscated, all on the whim of an ex that he hadn't seen in over 30 years. Absolutely wild. For what it's worth, the MSSA is now drafting a bill for the next session of the Montana legislature to try and stop anything like this from ever happening again. This is definitely a nightmare situation and a great example of how gun laws in other states can find a way to affect you wherever you are. So that is it for this video, guys. You know the drill. For all of the algorithm things, please do them. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Stay safe out there and happy shooting.